Welcome to Backstage Pass on the Boise Beat, where today we are speaking with the electrifying pop punk band Up From Here. Hailing all the way from Tampa, Florida, this dynamic three-piece band has been making waves in the music scene since their formation back in 2015. They're known for their high-energy performances and heartfelt lyrics, and they combine the best of neon pop punk and emo influences to create a sound that's both nostalgic and refreshingly modern. So tune in, get ready to dive into their journey and what's next for this rising band Up From Here. Band that's dubbed Up From Here. Where'd you come up with the name and what does it mean?
So that's actually something from another song of this band called Broadway.
Uh-huh.
They have a song that basically says that as the hook of the song a few times. And as a teenager, and I was a really big fan of their band, I liked it a lot, so I ran with it.
That's cool. Okay. So, not trying to put a label to it per se and whatnot, but when I was first checking you guys out and listening to you, I guess I would have came across and thought, it's kind of pop punk. Would you dub your music as pop punk or something else? Like how would you describe it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are huge fans of pop punk, and we would put that label on us. That and emo too, I guess.
One of the other things I've seen is that this kind of inception of your band was back in more of a duo back in 2014. And it wasn't until like a year later or so that kind of morphed into, the full pop punk band that you are today. Like what was the
Yeah.
inspiration behind that jumping into a full-fledged band?
Well, we just kind of wanted to bring up the energy a little bit and have some more opinions of, other people in the band and things like that. So I don't know. And a bunch of our favorite bands, were full bands like that too. So we just kind of, yeah, I guess, I don't know. We met some cool people and got together with it and just ran with it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. On your first demo that you guys pieced together, Left Behind, you guys sold over, I believe it was 500 copies that you guys were able to move in the first couple months. Like, and initially, for anybody that's been in that game where they produced a demo or something from scratch and they're trying to get that out there, like it can be challenging, it can be difficult, it can be intimidating
Oh
to
yeah.
try to put it out there. Like, talk to me about the process of you putting your first demo out there and kind of the response that you got from people right off the bat.
So that demo, man, I'm surprised that you even found that one, to be honest, because it's so long ago. But yeah, that was our first one. I think it was like 5 songs.
Mm-hmm.
We went to record with this buddy of ours that was in another band, just in his bedroom, and he helped us put it together and everything, and helped us sound, how we wanted to. And then just the Tampa scene was really good to be in. It was easy to make friends and kind of spread the word, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we used to do a lot of just going to other shows, and we used to pass out our CDs and stuff like that, or try to sell them, or just whatever we could.
Yeah. Okay.
And we've always been pretty good at marketing ourselves online, I would say too. Just kind of even just DMing people and asking them to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And I didn't get a chance to give you a proper introduction and kind of dub, or label who you are as one part of the band. And the other fellas, they're not here to kind of speak for themselves, but talk to me about your role in the band and then the others that, are not obviously not here with us right now.
Yeah, so I sing and play guitar, and I do a bunch of the songwriting and some of our design and stuff like that. But Tyler is our guitarist. He's not here on the call, like you said, but he plays lead guitar, takes part in a bunch of the writing as well. And then Bern is our bassist.
Okay.
And we all take part of the writing, I guess. I don't know why I specified that, but
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah. So we're actually just a 3-piece, and we don't have a drummer. So we usually
Okay.
just hire on a drummer from another band or a friend of ours or something like that for shows.
Wow. Okay. So how does that dynamic play into it without having somebody that's, the regular, so to speak, of a drummer? Does that impact the way your show sets go, or is it kind of like who you're picking when you pick them, and kind of you got to run with it? How does that
Yeah,
work
for
out?
a long time it was a lot of like trial and error. You know what I mean? Because we were always
Uh-huh.
playing with different people and like practice having two different practices sometimes because we had to get two different drummers for a few different shows that one guy wasn't always available for all of them or something like that. But we've actually got a couple guys now that are pretty consistent. They know all of our music, and they're kind of our go-tos for that. So it's been getting a lot better there.
I also recognize that you guys, played for some notable names like Hawthorne Heights and the Ataris, notable names such as that. Like, has there been any kind of standout bands or artists that you've got to cross paths with or open up for or play a part of, shows for?
Yeah, definitely. The first one that comes to mind for me is Memphis Mayfire because they've always been one of my favorites.
Mhm.
We got the opportunity to play with them in St. Pete, Florida, at State Theater. It was one of our first times ever playing there too, so it was kind of like a dream come true kind of scenario, which was cool.
Yeah.
We've got to play with Icy Stars, Set It Off. Basically, just a lot of cool bands that we've looked up to, come through
Hmm.
Tampa, and we always try to hop on those shows when we can.
Yeah.
Even when it comes, like if we know the promoter or something, we'll ask them, or if you would just have to email the venue or whatever it is.
You guys have been doing this for a minute, you guys have been playing for some time now. And back in 2015, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, you guys won the Ernie Ball Warped Tour Battle of the Bands back in 2015,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, right? Um,
Yep.
how would you say that how was that experience, and how did that kind of shape the trajectory of you guys moving forward?
That was definitely like a surreal type of thing for us too, because it was so early on. It kind of was something that I think gave us all like a lot more hope and a lot
Hmm.
more like hype on what we were doing. Like we were already excited about it, but to be able to do something like that was definitely like next level for us. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, that was an awesome experience. Looking back on it now, I wish we were a lot better than we were.
Sure.
But it's all an experience.
Yeah, no
So
doubt. Well, better then when nobody is quite putting their criticism on you, right? Than
yeah.
years down the road when you got some traction and you got stuff existing that people can find you readily, and easily.
Hmm.
Yeah, no
That, and
doubt.
then we're always our own worst critic too. So
Right, exactly. In the scene that you're in the industry or genre, I should say, that you're in, because pop punk slash, emo, I guess notorious, you could say, for speaking about, topics such as, adversity and perseverance, and kind of really getting into, your emotions and topics even that sometimes people don't want to talk about and they're afraid of delving into. Share about your songwriting process and kind of where you draw your inspiration from.
so our songwriting process, it's all just starts from, I have a little home studio, and so I'll like start demos there pretty much,
Hmm.
and then have the guys come in and just kind of help me work on them after the bones are there essentially of a
Yeah.
song,
Right.
and we'll put it together like that. As far as like the inspiration for it, a lot of our songs are like about mental health, or like you said, like perseverance. That's a big one for us, and just kind of you know not giving up, doing your best, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Trying to leave like a positive um, message, I guess,
Yeah.
to something that's usually people can get a little bit dark about, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get it. 110%. That's cool. Over the years, I have to imagine that, you've grown, like you said earlier, when you were thinking about back in 2015 with this battle of the bands, and how you guys were and how you had hoped that maybe you were a little bit better then,
Hmm.
right, than you are now. And as you grow, your talents evolve, your skill set expands, your vocals have to have changed as well, somewhat in that process, I would imagine, right? Because I think that
Definitely.
you have a unique voice specifically that's kind of catered towards this genre of music. Like,
Thank you, man.
is that something you've trained over the years, or how have you trained your vocals? I would imagine you have.
I haven't really done any like formal training or anything like that, but
Hmm.
I basically just was doing it in the way that felt like I was kind of just guessing what was right in the beginning, you know, and
Yeah.
it sounded good enough to me to where I was happy with it. And eventually, after we did like a lot of DIY touring and stuff, I kind of
Hmm.
like tore my voice up a little bit. So I had to take some time and kind of like relearn how to do it in like a
Hmm.
different kind of way.
Yeah.
And I basically did that through like watching YouTube videos, finding a few different people who were giving out a lot of good tips and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy how the information now you can find nowadays, right?
yeah,
Versus
exactly.
20 years ago. And at this point in your career, with music, have you talk to me about the difference between working with the label, if you have, versus working independently? Like, what's that relationship been like for you, and how's that impacted and influenced your music to date? Are you currently working with the label, or are you working independently?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not too different. It's just that we have a few more like, you know, checks and balances when it comes to getting things released and planned and things like that. And we have more of a little bit of a team going
Hmm.
on to where we strategize, I guess, what the plan is over the next course of time or whatever.
Right.
So it's actually better. It kind of helps us stay on the path and not get, um, I guess, what's the word I would use for that? Not distracted, but just like if we start slacking off or something,
Yeah.
we kind of have to, you know, call ourselves out a little bit more on it.
Yeah.
I would
Rein it
say,
in
at
a little
least for
bit.
me, that helps me stay the
Yeah.
path
So I think you mentioned it. Checks and balances, accountability is
for
really the big
sure.
difference. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of your hometown, of Tampa, right?
Hmm.
And this being a big part of, where you've been, played, kind of a staple. How has the local scene supported you, or what do you like most about being in that arena and engaging with the community that's in that space?
I would say when we first started, it was a little bit different than it is now. I think after COVID, things really kind of got shaken up and things really died down.
Hmm.
But lately, it's really picking back up. There's a lot of new cool bands that are, you know, doing different things than other bands were doing before.
Mm.
Um, it's a really big metal scene going
Okay.
on, which is cool.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of like alternative music, punk music is like falls under that category, I guess, or is like easily welcomed, which is
Hmm.
cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, we've one thing that we've done differently in the scene is we're going to more like emo nights and other local bands shows, or really just a lot of just going to concerts more, I guess, and interacting with people and just being in it more, like being a part of it more
Yeah. Yeah. Being
than we
more
used to.
intentional about being part of the
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah. For the other fellas that aren't with us here, if you could, like, uh, give me a descriptor. I mean, I can only go off of what I'm seeing with imagery, but you obviously have to have
Uh-huh.
personalities at play here that influence both your creative process, the performances, the
Hmm.
overall building of your brand, etc. Like, if you were to describe the personalities of the other members, how would you describe them?
Of the other members, I would say, I mean, they're a lot like me, you know, like we're all kind of awkward and we're all kind of just silly. We have the same type of humor.
Uh-huh.
And that's really like a big part of our band is just being silly and kind of having fun with it.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes down to that, I mean, that's my favorite thing about our chemistry, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
like I can't really interact with other people the same way that I can interact with them, I would say.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of button heads going on, I would say.
Oh, there's definitely plenty of that, but
Oh yeah.
but you know, we're really good at working past those things, I guess. Um, we end up just talking about whatever it is, so
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So you guys are pretty
that's the
close
key.
then. Yeah. That's what's up. You guys are pretty close then, it sounds like, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool. What's on the horizon for you guys, man? Like, what's any projects that you guys are currently working on? You guys, mapping out a tour? You guys got some shows that are coming up on deck for the summer or coming up in the fall? What's
Yeah.
what's in store for you guys?
So this summer we've got a couple of cool shows planned. We're doing a music festival in Tampa at the Crowbar in Ybor City.
Okay.
It's a place that we've played a lot of times, and used to kind of be our main venue that we like to play. But yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. There's a bunch of, other bands like us. I can't really give too much of the info on who the headliners are or anything like that. I don't think it's been announced yet.
Sure.
But that'll be on July 6th.
Okay, so coming up pretty
So,
fast.
and then on August 17th, we have another festival that we're doing in Gainesville with a pretty big headliner. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that one either. But yeah, so we're looking forward to those couple of shows. We're wanting to book shows like around those, essentially in the area, just all over Florida, kind of, to try to turn those into like weekenders or, something of that nature.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
So as far as shows goes, that's all we have on the books at the moment. But and then as far as releasing music or new music, we have some studio time booked for next month. So we're going to be going up to Nashville to work with our producer Dan Swank. He did our whole album pretty much.
Yeah.
And we're really excited to go do that. We're going to do 2 songs. So one of them is going to be one that we've already written, and then the other will be one that we'll write in the studio with him. And that'll be our first time doing that, like a co-write. So
yeah, that's cool.
It's exciting.
Yeah, talk about that for a second, if you would. With the seasoned producer like Dan Swank, Ace Enders, right? How have these collaborations like helped you out in the process of getting music pieced together and out to the world?
It's definitely important. I mean, you've got to have an eye for guys who are really doing a good job, and then who understand what you want, I guess, with what sound you want and everything. And then another thing that helps is somebody who's not afraid to tell you if something needs to change or if something could be better or whatever, or is not afraid to just suggest anything,
Right.
That's helped us a lot. I can't count how many times we've made a change in the studio and it was a good one. So
yeah, so kind of having mentors, if you would, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay. That's awesome. For somebody that is in a similar position, that's out there pursuing music as a career, and you just kind of proved it earlier. You talked about, you run your own business and you're kind of moonlighting as a musician, but you're kind of full in the thick of this and you've been doing it for years. Like, what would be a word of inspiration or wisdom, if you would, to the aspiring musician or artist that's trying to, make their stamp on the world with their music? Would there be any word of encouragement that you leave to them?
I would just say, at least with my experience, that there's going to be plenty of ups and downs, and it's going to feel impossible sometimes. And you just have to fight past those moments, because on the other side of it, there's a lot of, fun times and, dreams coming true, even if it's small stuff, it's all worth it in the end. And to start small, if you're like just starting, kind of don't have the mindset that things are gonna just happen for you all at once, because it really is just a day by day grind. We're not quite as far as we would like to be either, but we are still happy with how far we've come, and you got to remain grateful, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. What would you say is your favorite thing about having been able to, run and operate in this band up from here for all these years? What's been your favorite thing over the years that you've been able to say, man, this is what keeps fueling me. This is what keeps making me want to do this?
Maybe just the satisfaction of creating something and having it out there for other people to hear.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of having like a whole album on Spotify or something that's going to be there forever is kind of like a stamp that you're leaving on the world, I guess, or on your, like, I have a 2-year-old son. I'm excited for him to grow up and hear it one day,
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
So.
No, you're right. I think innately, like all of us, we have this desire to create, and we create differently. Like, people create in different ways, and you're doing that through music. So I think you're hitting on something that's pretty in depth. There's so much more to that there. I think everybody has that desire inside of them. They just don't know how to execute it sometimes. But yeah, great insight. Great insight. Where can people find you at, Danny? Like if they're looking for music from you, obviously we're going to be putting one of your players in here connected to some of your links and whatnot. But if somebody's just listening to this, where can they find you online?
So the best places to find us online are probably Spotify, Apple Music. We're just Up From Here on there. And then on YouTube, we've got a bunch of music videos out on YouTube. You can just look up From Here. And then like one of the name of our songs is Fountain of Youth.
Okay.
I would say that's probably my favorite music video to check out.
Check that one out. That's cool.
And then we're on all of the other social medias as Up From Here Music. So
nice. That's what's up. Well, Danny, hey, it's been a pleasure, bro. Thanks for jumping on here with me. I appreciate you a ton. For those of you checking this out right now and listening, you've just tuned in to Backstage Pass on the Boise Beat. We've been talking to Up From Here. Make sure you go check them out.